Someone rejects you. Someone you trusted walks away. Something you worked years for suddenly falls apart, and for a while, it feels like your entire world changed. But then something happens. You recover, not because it didn't hurt, because you learned something most people never learn. Pain can affect you without controlling you. That's what real resilience looks like. It's not becoming cold. It's not pretending nothing hurts. It's building a mind that can go through difficult things without losing itself. 1. You stop asking, why me? When something goes wrong, your brain naturally searches for an explanation. Why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen? But resilient people slowly learn to replace that question with something more useful. What can I do from here? The situation may still be unfair. You may still be angry. You may still wish things had gone differently. But you're no longer spending all your energy fighting reality. You're looking for your next move. And that tiny shift can completely change how you handle adversity. 2. You stop treating every emotion like an emergency. A strong mind doesn't mean you never feel anxious. You still get scared. You still get angry. You still have moments when you want to give up. The difference is you don't automatically obey every emotion. You can feel angry without sending the message. You can feel anxious without making an impulsive decision. You can feel hurt without immediately chasing the person who hurt you. You learn to pause, because an emotion can be real without being a command. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is feel something without immediately reacting to it. 3. You become comfortable with things you can't control. You can do everything right and still fail. You can love someone deeply and still lose them. You can give your best and still get rejected. A fragile mind says, this shouldn't be happening. A resilient mind says, I didn't want this, but I can handle it. That's not giving up. It's accepting reality without surrendering your power. Because the moment you stop demanding that life be different before you can be okay, you become much harder to break. 4. You stop needing everyone to understand you. You set a boundary. Someone calls you selfish. You choose a different path. Someone says you've changed. You stop chasing approval. Someone starts questioning your choices. And if you're constantly trying to prove yourself, you'll eventually start living according to other people's reactions. Resilience teaches you something uncomfortable. You can be a good person and still be misunderstood. You don't have to explain every decision. You don't have to win every argument. And you don't need everyone's permission to become someone different. Sometimes peace begins when you stop trying to control what other people think about you. 5. You start keeping promises to yourself. This sounds simple, but it changes everything. You tell yourself you'll do something, and then you actually do it. You say you'll stop checking their profile. You stop. You say you'll work on yourself. You show up. You say you'll get through this week. And somehow, you do. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're building something deeper than discipline. You're building self-trust. And when life gets difficult, self-trust matters. Because instead of thinking, I can't handle this, something inside you says, I've handled hard things before. I'll figure this out too. 6. You stop turning setbacks into identities. You failed. That doesn't mean you're a failure. Someone rejected you. That doesn't mean you're unwanted. You made a terrible decision. That doesn't mean you're a terrible person. Resilient people learn to separate what happened from who they are. Because one bad experience can easily become a permanent story. I always mess things up. Nobody will ever choose me. I'm just not good enough. But a setback is an event. It's not an identity. You can say, I messed up, without saying, I am a mess. That distinction gives you room to grow. 7. You learn how to rebuild. This is where resilience becomes real. You have a terrible week, you lose motivation, you feel like you've gone backwards, and for a moment you think, all my progress is gone. But it isn't. Progress doesn't always look like feeling better. Sometimes progress looks like recovering from the same pain faster than you used to. You still break sometimes, you still cry, you still have bad days, but you know how to come back. And that's the kind of strength people often misunderstand. Because a resilient person isn't someone who never breaks, they're someone who knows how to rebuild. And eventually, something changes. The rejection still hurts, but it doesn't destroy your self-worth. The failure still hurts, but it doesn't define you. The loss still hurts, but you know you'll survive it. And this is the part that can seem almost intimidating from the outside. Not because you became emotionless, not because you stopped caring, but because people can no longer control your entire world with one opinion, one rejection, or one painful moment. You became harder to break. So don't try to become fearless, build something better. Learn to pause before reacting, accept what you can't control, keep the promises you make to yourself, separate your mistakes from your identity, and when life knocks you down, don't ask, how do I make sure this never happens again? Ask, how do I become someone who can handle it when it does? Because real resilience isn't a mind that never suffers, it's a mind that suffers and still finds its way back to itself.